Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Broyans farm. We haven't had rain on the farm here in at least, I think, 3 weeks we're going on. And if we did, it was just a small shower, didn't really amount to anything. And so we're gonna start getting the irrigation pipes out. We really want to irrigate our garlic. And so I don't want to have small garlic like we did again last year. So that's gonna be the first thing we're gonna irrigate. And then we're gonna move right into irrigating our early season cole crops and our first batch of sweet corn. That's why I love the high tunnel, because we can control the water that goes in here. If they're getting a little bit dry, all we have to do is turn on our water and water them for a couple hours with the underground drip line. These tomatoes are just growing like crazy. I don't know the exact date that we planted them, but we're starting to tie them now. We've tied them twice, and it's only gonna be about 2 or 3 days. We're gonna have to tie them for the third time. And so that's great. They're already putting on some really nice blossoms. If you've seen, my dad went through, cut off the lower leaf and pruned all of them. So basically now all I need to do is just grow. And another thing I love about the high tunnel is that we can control how cold and warm it gets in here for the most part. At night, we'll roll down our sides so that way it stays at least above freezing in here earlier on. Now that's not really a threat of freezing, so we just roll it down just so it stays warmer, like around probably 50, 60, because we don't have heat. But then in the daytime, when it starts getting warm in the afternoons, we can roll the sides all the way up. That way it gets a nice breeze and it's not 120 degrees in here. So like right now, it's about 50, 55 out, but there's a pretty decent wind. And so we have it rolled down quite a bit. But with that hot sun beating in, it's probably around 75 to 80 degrees in there right now. I hear the dosatron running. Mom is putting, it looks like 15015 on the non-stop begonias, and I don't know what else. As far as all of our vine crops go for the field, they're coming up really nice. You can see them here, just starting to poke out. Even though those aren't coming out yet, they're gonna be here in the next day or two. There's cantaloupe, watermelon, zucchini, pickling cucumbers, regular cucumbers, yellow zucchini. Oh wow, and here is our zinnias for the market coming up. I didn't even notice that. This is the first time we've ever planted them in a 72 cell tray, but it looks like they're doing really good. Yesterday was hometown market, so Frank's been working on getting this unloaded. Had a very good day. Obviously, we never sell out, but we can get pretty close. This is all the vine crops we have left, which is all cucumbers for the retail. And so, because they grow really fast, I had Sammi do, I think, 3 or 4 more of zucchini, which is a senator. And then I'm also gonna have her do some pickling cucumbers as well as some straight 8s, and hopefully they'll come on in time. Zucchini will grow the fastest, then the cucumbers will come on, and then the pickling cukes will be last. This is what the seeds look like. They're quite large compared to other seeds. Then she'll go through and tag them, and then they'll get watered. Frank's working on filling 4.5-inch pots right here. These are gonna be for, and he's got his new Broyans shirt on. Woo! And he's got about, I think, like 80 more to go. He's gonna do 100 of them. They're gonna be for our tomatoes for retail sales. Right in here. Sammi just got these ones staked. We're gonna start taking these to market on Sunday for the Sailorsburg flea market. Just like that. They could be a little bigger, but these ones down here are nice size.
If you like our channel, please subscribe.
We're just getting into the garlic field now with the irrigation pipe. Took a little bit longer than we expected just because we had to get all of our angles figured out. We had to have a 90 right off of the pipe come out of the ground. Then we had 245s to get into the field. But now is the easy part. We're just gonna run it straight through. Sammy's driving, Frank and I are laying. All right, Frank, you ready? We need a closed one and an open one. Right here, closed. Good. Are you gonna fit through there? You'll fit through there, right? Okay. So the strip through the garlic is done. Now we're gonna lay through our early season cole crops, beans and red beets, and actually our sweet corn as well. So right now, again, we're just trying to get all the angles figured out. Right here is where our underground irrigation comes up out. And so you can see we're at a 90 right away to go down to the garlic field. Now this one is a little bit different because we don't have to do 90s and 45s. I'm thinking we might just be able to do a 22.5-degree angle, which Sammy has right there, and it'll be okay, but I don't really know until I start laying stuff out and get it figured out. Okay, so yeah, if you turn right, bring that end down this way.
Oh.
Basically, yeah, swing 180 quick.
Helicopter propeller.
Okay, there you go. So now that we have our second line mapped out, we're gonna actually do a third line, which is gonna go between the cole crops and the sweet corn now. And again, we cannot just lay it in the field and hope it's gonna meet up. We have to map it out first and make sure everything's gonna work. That way, when we wanna go to water, it's all ready to go. While we're waiting for Dad to show up and help us, since we're running 2 lines up there, Sammy, Frank, and I are going to put the rainbirds in down below. We have a big traffic cone here so nobody runs over our pipe because this is like a main road. If there's ever a belly, we have to brace it up because when that gets water in it, it could possibly bend the pipe if the gap is too big. Make sure all these connections are good. All right, Frank, if you want to grab like 10 rainbirds, Sammy, you grab the tub, and then I will fasten everything in. These are the rainbirds right here. And once the whole system's operating, it'll be easier to understand. But the water comes up through this tube, and then it gets necked down to that little hole right there. That's where it comes out of. And then there's a spring at the top here that keeps working back and forth. So not only does it spin it around in circles, it also hits the beam of water so that it kind of mists it out over the entire field. Before we thread these in the hole, I always put a little bit of WD-40 on them just so they come back out easier. If you don't, they almost get like froze fast. And so...
And do not cross thread.
Yeah, cross threading is a very bad thing to do. And then tighten my wrench. And I don't have to tighten them real much. 1, 2, and that's all it needs. Now on to the next one. Dad showed up, so now it's Sammy, Dad running the left line, Frank and I running the right line. This one and this one right here. Good? How it works is there's a latch right here and it goes in this groove. So he'll push in, I'll latch it down, pull, then he makes sure it's pulled so it's latched in there good. It's not gonna come out once it gets pressure running through it. And now this one is open because that's where we're gonna put the rainbird. Now we'll take this next one. This one just has a cap in it and that'll have nothing done to it. So it goes rainbird, no rainbird, rainbird, no rainbird throughout the whole field. Pull. Good. Because these are just transplanted, they're kind of a little bit in shock, and the hot heat is making them wilt down a little bit. They don't look so nice, but after they get this water and the sun goes down, they'll straighten back up and they'll look healthy as can be. Frank and Sammy are putting them in. I'm just going through with the wrench and tightening everything up. Kind of makes it easier on all of us. They don't have to carry more stuff than they have to, and either do I. So after we run our whole line, obviously the water has to stop so that the water can build pressure inside of the pipe. So that's where we have these metal caps. They just slide right inside of there. And you would think that that would be fine, but almost every single time we've done this without wiring it up, it just blows out at some point. So that's why I got my wire here. And I'll just run a wire from here to the Rainbird. That way it physically can't pull out. And then I run one around the top so that it can't pop off. Sammy, you wanna hold out on that? Our underground irrigation line that goes into the pond, the screen rotted off. So there's basically no filter. And so we had to buy this line, which is just a throw-in line. And it does the same thing that the other one does that's underground, but now it's on top of the ground. And so instead of it being on the floor of the pond sucking up all the debris, we have this little flotation system so that it floats at the top of the pond, but yet our suction line, or our screen right here at the end, can you see that, Sammy? Just dangles in the water a couple feet. That way we don't get any chunks of anything, and it's just really nice clean water.
Can you roll that up a little bit? Perfect.
And by a flotation device, I mean like 3-gallon jug, a 5-gallon jug, and old irrigation pipe that got ran over by somebody.
It's called redneck flotation device.
Yeah.
And it works like a champ.
We might as well mount it. At least get the bolt started while you're here.
So Dad got a flat tire on the tractor, but the tires are real heavy because they have weights on the outside. You know how much that weight weighs?
No, but it weighs an awful lot. Good. I get one or two on there.
There you can go.
So I just noticed, looky here. This bolt is totally loose. Tie rod and bolt on the other side is totally loose.
Wait, isn't that backwards?
Yeah.
That one?
Yeah, I don't got my glasses on.
So here we are the next day. Sadly, I wasn't here this morning. We couldn't water last night. It was too windy after we got the irrigation pipe laid. And so Dad was up at 6:30, got this started up, and I think watered it for around 3 or 4 hours. You can see the difference in the field. This is nice and dark and wet. And then over there, it's very obviously light and dry. So this is gonna do the cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli, beans, red beets, and sweet corn a world of good. And now we're gonna move this line that we just laid yesterday up to the upper part of the field, and we're gonna water this sweet corn now. Pull. We don't have to angle up no more, Sammy. We're good.
Alright, so we'll run 5 feet from that road the whole way through now.
That's what I'm calling it a wrap for this video. As always, thank you guys for watching. And always remember, it ain't much, but it's honest work.